Welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a meatball sub. I'm not Italian, I'm not a chef, but this is how I do it when I'm in a pinch and I'm hungry. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. Let's start things off by making our meatballs. Right over here I have some ground beef that I picked up at the grocery store. It's 80% lean, 20% fat. I think it's a pretty good ratio. First thing we're gonna do is dice up some onions. The way I like to cut my onions is first I put a couple slits in here, just like this. And once I get to the end here, I'm just gonna turn my onion like this and then dice it up. Now I'm gonna cut up my second half of my onion right here. I don't want these too small because in every meatball, I kind of want a little crunch from that onion. Just gonna go over this one more time. And once you feel like you've diced them up enough, all you gotta do is just toss them into your bowl here. You don't want any onions to go to waste here. You might as well just throw them all in. For the next step, just gonna put this in the middle of my cutting board. I'm gonna add 1 egg, bunch of breadcrumbs. This is about half a cup. Then I'm gonna add half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Then I'm just gonna put about a pinch of paprika in here. The paprika won't make it that spicy, but it adds that nice little kick and flavor. Then I'm gonna go in with some garlic powder. Also just eyeing this, about a tablespoon though. Then some onion powder. Last but not least, I just have some everyday seasoning. Now for the messy part, you can use gloves if you want, but I'm just gonna go in with bare hands. Let's make sure the meat and all the ingredients get to know each other. I think this bowl might be a little small, but I wanna make it work. You're gonna mix this up until everything's thoroughly combined, and then make a bunch of little meatballs. Now that everything is thoroughly combined, I'm gonna roll these into balls. This will probably yield way more meatballs than I need, but the good thing is you can toss them in the freezer and cook them up later. So here's my first meatball. This is the size I'm roughly going for, and I'm just gonna keep making these until I don't have any meat left. Now that I have all my meat rolled into balls, let's get ready to cook them. Let's get this to temperature. I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil in. Don't need a ton. I'm gonna start grabbing my meatballs here and start cooking them. And I'm basically just gonna sear these on every side. And once they're cooked all the way through, I'm gonna add some red sauce in. And now I'm just gonna let this sit for a little bit until it's cooked. Once you feel like you have a char on one side, just flip them around so you get an even cook on each side. These are looking good, Zach. Look at the caramelization on this meatball. It looks so good. Now that I have a nice char on each side of my meatballs, I'm gonna add in some marinara. Woo! Now I'm just gonna turn the heat down a little bit, make sure the meatballs and the marinara get to know each other. Now I'm just gonna let this simmer for a couple more minutes and make sure that these meatballs are thoroughly cooked all the way through. We'll have my meatballs off to the side. I'm gonna cut a little slit into my sub roll here, and then I'm gonna take some provolone cheese and I'm gonna stuff it in here. Maybe one more piece of cheese, toss it into my grill. I'm just gonna leave it in there until the cheese is nice and melty and the bread is nice and toasted. I think that's perfectly toasted. Slightly melted on the edges, toasted bun. This is exactly what we're looking for. Now I'm just gonna put my sub roll down right here. I just picked some fresh basil from the garden. Now all we gotta do is take our meatballs. I think I'm gonna take maybe 3 or 4 big ones right here, place them in here. I don't even know if 3 will fit actually. Maybe we'll take the smallest one, put it in the middle. I'm gonna take a little bit of fresh Parmesan, put that on top, and then I'm gonna take little pieces of basil and stuff them in here. I'm kind of scared to make this because I feel like all the Italians are gonna attack me in the comments saying I'm doing this wrong, and I might be, honestly, but this is how I do it. Now that I have my final toppings in, the last thing to do is to try it. I'm going in for a big bite. This is definitely a 10 out of 10, and I highly recommend you guys make this. I'm gonna sit here, stuff my face, but I'll see you next time.